Hi, I'm Ted with Citizen One Home Loans, and I've been a loan officer for the last 20 years, and I love putting people into homes. This video is not about me, it's about you and getting you into your dream home. All I know is that you have to live somewhere, so why don't you own it instead of rent it? Do you want to continue to rent, or would you like to own your own home? Good choice, you like to own your own home. Let's get started. Contact me today at 704-575-4886.
Hello, and you're listening to WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. I'm your host, Lynn Demmons, and this is Financial Confidence. We want to say thank you for joining in for this episode of Financial Confidence. It's November, guys. Yes, over here, over there, and just about everywhere. Yes, we're thankful during this month here. No, we're thankful every day, but with a special emphasis this month of November. Giving Tuesday is coming up, guys. I want to remind you of that on November 27th, Giving Tuesday. So head on over to WYTV7.org, guys, and give. If this company, this organization has given to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, show your love to the group. Go over to WYTV7.org. Hello, and welcome to WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. I'm your host, Lynn Demmons, and this is Financial Confidence. We want to thank you for listening in to each and every episode, joining us every week here at Financial Confidence. This is the month of November, over here, over there, and just about everywhere. And we want to be thankful throughout this month. We're thankful throughout every month, but with a special emphasis in this month. Just want to remind everyone that Giving Tuesday is coming up on November 27th. So if this broadcast has put anything into your life, go on over to WYTV7.org and donate so that we can continue on our mission, that's to enhance the kingdom. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Financial Confidence, where our guiding principle is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Yes, we also ask you, we suggest or highly recommend that you pray over your finances so you can do those things that you're called to do. That's build generational wealth and continue to enhance the kingdom. So if you'll take a moment and just bow with me, commit this simple prayer to memory as you move forward in the goals that you have for your faith, your family, and your finances. Lord, help us to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible stewards of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word for the eternal glory of thy Son Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen. All right, guys, thank you. We're so excited over here at Financial Confidence today. We have a special guest in the podcasting studio with us today. His name is Mr. Ted Delakis. Yes, didn't want to mess that name up, guys. Sorry about that extra emphasis. But Ted, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's a great Monday morning. And you pronounced it very well. Just got to let it roll with the name a little bit. Thank you. Great to have you.
Yes, I'm
Thanks
a stickler. Yes, you're so welcome. I'm a stickler for the name thing because my name is Demmons, and people tend to say demons. And I'm like, no, it's Demmons, no demons here. So I have to get on it with the naming convention. So yes, and yes. All right, guys. Well, we have a conversation that you definitely want to be a part of today. If you have a goal to purchase a home, then you need to tune in, get your paper, get your pen so that you can get the information that you need. Hopefully you're not driving while you're listening, but get everything that you need so that you can move to your next level. All right, Mr. Ted from Citizens Trust, tell us how you got started in this area. Citizens One, I
Oh,
apologize.
well, I started off back in 1997. I moved from upstate New York to Columbia, South Carolina. It's a long story about that part, but I needed work, and I was working in the restaurants, and I really didn't want to do that anymore. And I was looking to see what else was out there, and that I really wanted to do. I was going back to school still, and I saw jobs for being a loan officer. And I was like, wow, that's a really neat profession. I never really heard of that before where they're offering it. So I went and I talked to a couple mortgage companies. They sort of filled me in, and they sort of explained to me what, what the job description was, and it sort of fit what I really like to do. I like to help people. I like to work with people and help them with their finances, I found out. And it was a really neat field to sort of start off and learn about and everything. It was really, I felt good passion. When I sort of got into it, I really knew it was something that I really liked and I wanted to do. And I sort of dove in it head first. But, back then it was sort of, just sort of come as you are and everything, they sort of hire you as you are, and you just got to go with there and you got to make the best of it and everything. You learn. A lot of us got thrown to the wolves, so to speak, but as we learned as we went. But helped a lot of people out. But I started off in Columbia, South Carolina, a little after St. Patrick's Day weekend of '97. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty much, I wish I had a little better story, but I've been in the business since then, got out for a little bit of time after the housing bubble, but I've pretty much always been in the mortgage or banking industry ever since '97.
Okay.
So I've seen a lot of things come and go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. So you have some great experiences you could possibly share with us being in the industry for this period of time. So
Right.
the number one question that a lot of the listeners have is, how do I budget? How do I budget for my home? What are the priorities that I should put into place? Because a lot of individuals may see getting together a down payment as a barrier or a challenge. So how do they overcome that barrier or challenge and now build a budget that's going to allow them to get the home of their dreams?
Okay, that's a good question, because I like to, if people are going to put a budget, that means they're putting the mind thought in before they're moving into a home or before they want it. And they're going into it into a practical sense, which is really good. So when I think of budget, it sort of comes to me too as being a little disciplined with your money. And I know we're all sort of guilty of that, but you got to figure out how much you're spending, where you're spending it at, but still being able to pay your bills, but putting some money aside each month. Because it's very important when you're walking into maybe talking to a loan officer or talking to anybody that you pretty much have some of your ducks in a row, or you've seen that you've started to do it already. I love when people have told me, yeah, Ted, I've been working on my credit for the past 3 to 6 months. I cleared up this, or I've saved up some money here, or I've got money in my 401k and I got money, over here that I saved up. It just sort of lightens me that people really, that they're taking the time to really do all the right things. Because I really want to encourage people that if you're going to buy a home, and I suggest very highly that a lot of people do it, but go into it in a practical sense and save up some money. Don't go for the 100% financing and do it on a shoestring budget. Make sure that you have money set aside, and that you're learning how to budget your money, and you're putting some money away for a rainy day. Because how something goes wrong with a house, or something goes, you want to be able to have some money that you can count on, in case of a rainy day. Things do happen, and it doesn't come, not everything comes with a warranty and everything. So hopefully that answered your question there, Lynn.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I heard was definitely, guys, making sure that you are intentional, right, in your actions to put some funds aside on a regular basis, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, so that you'll be able to get in the dream home that you want. Maybe you want it in 2019, maybe you want it in 2020. Doesn't matter when you want it. It's important to get started now with that budgeting, with those habits. So people are going through this, as individuals are going through this process, what are some of the top questions that you've heard, or some of the top misconceptions maybe that have been shared with you that you've helped clients to clear up when it comes to buying a home?
Well, there's quite a lot of misconceptions about trying to go buy a home, and I think the first thing to really do is just, once you know that you do want to buy a home, and it's really to get a hold of a loan officer, get a hold of somebody that you can talk to. I think that's the first probably step, because I think most of them, like myself, will guide you into really what you really need to do to start setting some, goals for yourself. I would just get a feel for talking to a few loan officers and see how you like them. See if there's a little chemistry. See if they're apt to maybe returning your phone calls, answering your questions, talking to you, and really guiding you in the right way. I always like to talk to people and get them set, to help them set up their life for success, not for failure. So I do like to have them work out goals and talk to me and answer questions. Sometimes I like starting off talking over the phone, getting an idea. And then next, if they want to come into my office and sit down face to face, I like that. They get to meet me, I get to meet them. I'm a little old school. A lot of people don't like, modern day technology. We're all getting away from, where we don't do things face to face. So I'm like, okay, I like that. And I think most people really do appreciate that. And I'll sit down, I'll answer any of their questions. I'll go over their credit. I'll talk about their income, talk about their monthly payment, talk about how fast they want to be in a home, or, down payment, where that can come from. But most of all, I just encourage people not to overextend themselves. People want people talk about the dream home, and I don't, but I want them to feel like, they really just need a roof over their heads, but they're not living beyond their means. They don't need a bedroom for every aunt and uncle that possibly might come to their home on Thanksgiving to take that nap. They just really need a place that they can make the monthly payments and gain all the benefits that come with being a homeowner. And that's the way I really look at it, when I'm talking to people, or especially guiding them through the process and everything. Because, I firmly do believe in home ownership. I figured you got to live somewhere. What's the best way about going about doing it?
Right.
You can rent. Okay, that's good for a little while. It's good for a short-term period. Now, when you want to buy, it's sort of like long-term. You want to be able to, that's when you start having a long vision that you're going to be having to live somewhere. And you do see the big picture of that. And, there's a lot of bells and whistles that come with it, Lynn. It's just not, you can talk about pride of ownership. You can talk about building a little bit of net worth. It's just a place that you can sort of say, okay, I'm living in a good protected environment for my family, But that's pretty much, that's how I feel about that aspect.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. I get it. And I love that. Guys, you want to build a dream home, not a nightmare. So make sure you stay within that budget and get that,
Exactly.
work it out exactly right, so that you don't have to worry about what if, right? Those what ifs will come. You will need an emergency fund. Trust and believe you will need an emergency fund. So make sure you make those provisions on the front end. And another great point that Ted made, guys, I love it. You're building wealth when you purchase your home. You're building your net worth. That's a great way to build generational wealth, things that you can now pass on to other members of your family. You purchase a home, you can keep that in the family, guys. Tremendous opportunities, right? So we wanted to also, Ted, there are some other questions that you tend to want to follow up with the client on when they come in. So what would be some examples of things that they would need to be prepared for when they come in to talk to you as a loan officer?
Well, when they want to come in and talk to me, usually we sit down, we go over a lot of the numbers, monthly payments. I like to explain to them, I break down the monthly payment, because when I usually part of the payment is just, is taxes, insurance, private mortgage insurance. Then you also have your main mortgage payment, what we call your principal and interest payment in there. So I like to include explain to them, okay, this is your monthly payment, but I like to break it down so they understand what property taxes, and that it's going to be paid out of this monthly payment. Your homeowner's insurance, what that is, what that protects you with and everything. And private mortgage insurance. The majority of loans really have what they call private mortgage insurance. And I like to explain that to people because what that really does, it doesn't really protect you as the borrower. It really protects the lender. There's ways to get around it, but that can be a whole nother conversation. We can have a whole nother show about that. But it is with certain people, it can be tax deductible too for you. Question for you on that, if you're thinking about buying a home and it's tax time's coming up, I would get a hold of your person that's preparing your taxes and ask them about that. Because as far as I know, that it's still tax deductible in this 2018 where you can write it off. But so there are some guidelines out there and everything. Going back to what some things I like to talk about is, how fast of a time they want to be, into a home and everything. What are your expectations? And, and I usually I like to cover down payment. Where is the money going to be coming from there? And, there are some down payment assistance programs that are out there, that are available. And, sometimes that's a good way to get into a home. They do come with some advantages and some disadvantages with that with some folks. I do like to explain that to them. But most of all, when they come in, I just, that they don't need to have, a lot of people think they need to have a lot of money to get into a house on top of it. I tell them what to expect. There are, DA loans, which are 100% financing. You do have to be a vet in order to qualify. And then there's USDA, which is 100% financing. And that's sort of neighborhood specific. But if you're pretty much with FHA and a lot of first-time home buyers programs, they require anywhere between 3 to 3.5%. And, I sort of explain how much money they're going to be looking at. And then also I like to talk about closing costs. What's intact in closing costs and how much, and who picks up the tab on closing costs. Sometimes you can get the seller to pay some of the closing costs. Sometimes I can contribute some of the closing costs, but really the responsibility sometimes on the buyer, and has to be, part of the, down payment, so to speak, on that, as far as the bottom line, what they have to bring. But, how's that sound, Lynn?
That sounds great. I didn't know that you as the loan officer could do a portion of the closing costs. So hey guys, that's some interesting information to look into when you're working with different individuals. So you did mention a couple of terms that some of our listeners may not be aware of. And because you're so immersed in this world, you use your acronyms, right, on a regular basis. Go back and reiterate and tell us what VA, USDA, FHA,
okay,
what all of those things mean. So for the listener who what was following along, but they don't exactly know, right, what those entities are.
All right, I apologize for using those acronyms. I should have been a little bit more descriptive, but thanks for catching that. VA loans, what that is, it's for the, the Veterans Affairs. It means that if you were part of the military and you do qualify for a veterans loan, you have to be what we call VA eligible. That's 100% financing. That's something that's what we're giving back to the veterans for sort of serving our country, which is 100% financing on that type of loan. They just need to be eligible for it.
Right.
So that's VA. USDA, what that is, it's a stump me on this one, but it's for rural housing. What it is, it qualifies, the home needs to qualify like in a specific area. It's sort of the build up, maybe like more like the rural area. So what they do is they have a loan product that's sort of, it's 100% financing. And the way to find out on properties of that way, it's either through your real estate agent or someone like myself, a loan officer. I have to go and I have to put in the address into their website, and it tells me if it qualifies or not. But if it does qualify, that is another 100% financing loan product. So there are a couple of them that are out there that are still left. But otherwise, most people are going with first-time home loan products like FHA, which is Federal Housing Authority, which requires you to have 3.5% down payment. Okay, but a lot of that down payment can also come from multiple places, and that's why it gets geared to first-time home buyers, because it can come from nonprofit groups, it can come from the down payment assistance groups, it can come from it can be gifted from a family member. So if you got a nice family member and they want to be able to help you get into a home, maybe a lot of people that are sort of newlyweds and maybe their parents want to help them out, buy them a home for a wedding gift, they'll give them the down payment. So it can come from a lot of different places. And it's got a lot of flexibilities with the FHA loan. So if you do hear that type of loan, it's usually geared towards first-time home buyers because it's got a lot of flexibilities on it. So that is a really good loan product, but even what we call regular conventional loans still just require 3% out there. But, what I'll do with a lot of people is when they do come into my office and everything, I'll put the two loan products right next to each other, for what monthly payment is, and sort of tell them the advantages and the disadvantages of each one. And then my job is really to consult them and to give them the options, the pros and cons of each one. That way they can make an educated decision. My job is not to tell them what to do and everything. My job is to consult them and give them the advantages and the disadvantages of every loan product and explain everything to them. They're the ones that at the end of the day, they have to get responsible that need to make the monthly payment. I want them to sleep good at night and everything. So my job is to consult them and explain everything so they understand it crystal clear where they can make a really good educated decision.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, so thank you for going back and explaining those products. Guys, so you heard it.
Most definitely.
Yes, there are so many different options out there. So it's no longer the way that you've probably thought it or imagined it up in your mind. There are opportunities that can assist you. There's down payment assistance out there for those who need it. So I love that you shared those different opportunities with our listeners. Are there any last parting words that you would like to share for those who are interested in this market? What would be your 1 to 2 things that you say these are your non-negotiables, right? When it comes to moving forward with purchasing your home.
Yeah. Well, I think pretty much, I think we all should be looking at home ownership. I always figured you have to live somewhere. What better way to go do it?
Right.
So once you pretty much got an idea that you really want to look into it and everything, I think the best bet is to really contact a good loan officer. Even like myself, feel free to reach out to me and get somebody that you can ask questions, someone that you can build a rapport with and everything. Even if you're not going to say, well, I can't pull the trigger for another 6 or 8 months because my lease is up, or because I have to get my credit cleaned up, or because, I'm going to save up. I always tell people it's never too early to get started. It really isn't. 6 to 8 months, if you say, I don't want to put back for that amount, till that time period, I'm saying, great. Let's start right now, because it's never too early to get started. Because if we have to do something or get you all prepped up, that's a good amount of time to do that. So that's one of my big, one of the things I like to get work when I start working with people. But I also let people know, here we are, we're coming to the end of 2018. And what happens at the beginning of 2019? Tax time.
Right.
Everybody usually gets tax money. What better way to start saving up and, setting your goal up for 2019 than taking that tax money and using that for your down payment? Start using that as your money that you want to start saving with. And that's, one of my big kickers that when I start talking to people, take that money and, utilize it. And if you're used to getting money back at the end of the year, and if you're a homeowner, you'll be getting that much more back. I mean, that's the other big reasons why people do become homeowners, and they get ahead. But some other big things that I really got to talk about becoming a homeowner is, there's just a lot of advantages of it. Again, you can talk about pride of ownership. You can talk about building a little bit of net worth, for you and your family. Great stepping stone, you know, if you grow out the house maybe 3 to 5 years and you're starting to grow a family and everything, you can turn around and sell it, or if you want and use that money to buy another home, or if you want to become a landlord and rent that out, what better way to start doing that? So it's always a good stepping stone. Once you start owning a home, you start building up your credit, you start building up your net worth a little bit, and you know, just not saying you're going to become super rich overnight, which I'm not really trying to push. I'm trying to have you, you know, be able to thrive and be able to, you know, maintain and, you know, keep a good, healthy lifestyle, you know. And that's really what I really want to push, is that, you know, help people stay ahead of the game, you know, so, you know, help them out and everything in the long run. As you know, if you're renting, rent just keeps going up. Well, you know, with mortgages, they really don't. They pretty much stay consistent. So, you know, all I know is that most people's rents exceed how much they're making each month, or how much their income, it starts exceeding. So if you look at it like that, you know, you pretty much, you're going to be sort of defeating yourself if you keep renting. And if you want to be able to be a homeowner, you'll start seeing things work in your favor.
Absolutely. I love it, Ted. Thank you so much for joining us. So where can listeners who want to follow up with you, where can they connect with you? I know we'll be sharing some more of your information and brochures that you've given us, but where can they find you? Where can they connect with you?
Well, you know, best way is either call me at 704-575-4886. Or else, you know, I am on LinkedIn. I am also got my Facebook page, and if you could be so kind and flash out my links at the end. But again, my name is Ted Sandalakis. I am licensed or do business in multiple states. So, you know, if you do want to reach out to me, or if I can't even help you in that state, at least, you know, I don't mind answering your questions and helping you out and guiding you still. Best way is probably first contact me that way. And then Lynn, if you can put on something at the end, you know, with my links to my email address, probably the best way. Whatever way you want to reach out to me, good way to start. But you do got to reach out to me. I don't know who you are out there.
All right. Ted, thank you so much for joining us, guys. This is invaluable information that's been given to you. I hope you take this to heart and go out there and make some real changes. One of the number one things, if you didn't take away anything else, guys, he said it's never too early to get started. And don't forget about that income tax return, okay? Go ahead and get that set aside. He gave us a lot of different programs that you can look into that can potentially assist you in this process. There are no excuses, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Lynn. No, it was a pleasure. And really, I just want to encourage everybody that, you know, I'm here. I'm available for any type of questions, any type of help. We can set up a time to talk, however you want to do it. Okay? I love to help people out. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We love that, Ted. And you and guys, we love doing that here as well at Financial Confidence. We're here to help you make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do what you're called to do. And that's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here at WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters. Don't forget, Giving Tuesday, November 27th. Go over to WYTV7.org, and we'll see you here on the next episode.
Thanks again, Lynn. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.